Hey, welcome back to Tennis Manager 25, episode number 5. We're about to do our giveaway, but first off, I want to say I am so excited by the amount of engagement with these couple of Steam keys that we've had to give away for the game. It's been exceptional, and it's been really nice to see people coming and commenting that don't normally comment on videos. The reception of the first few episodes have been fantastic. Of course, there's been that little bit of sadness regarding what happened with the bug that we encountered, which, by the way, I've already heard directly from the team, the development team for Tennis Manager 25 at Rebound, directly that they've already fixed that bug. So it is something that is now behind us, but of course we already went through a reset anyway. This has been really cool. Let's go ahead and give away one more key. Lot of names on the list for this one today, but it's definitely narrowing down to a group, and it's gonna be Bino or Bino Power. Congratulations for winning the second key here for Tennis Manager 25, and I will get that sent out to you here shortly. Thank you to all who participated. Like I said, it's been really cool to see this other group, and you know, for me, Blue Sky following going up significantly. I, like many of you who posted for this, aren't regular commenters. I'm not a regular commenter when it comes to social media. I'm always one of those first ones to click like on a video as I watch, but I don't drop a comment very often at all. It's just not my personality type. So it was really nice to hear from you all. Well, it looks like we're going to have to move in a new direction relatively soon. Jameson Gutierrez, our trainer, is going to retire here at the end of the season. One of the things I really like about this game is when it comes to selecting staff doesn't necessarily want to sign for you, and there's multiple variables that goes into whether they would sign or not. Now, the reputation of the academy is far and away the most important factor on whether staff would like to sign for you or not. However, especially in the lower portions of reputation, geography is a big factor. People don't want to move halfway around the world for a really crappy job. So for us, even seeking a level 2 experience right now is a little bit on the iffy side, unless they happen to be from our home nation where the geography matters a whole lot less. And so we're going to try to sign a level 2 coach to give us a little more. He doesn't even want to sign right now, so boo-hoo. Well, with all the graduates out of the junior game onto the senior game, Uni flies up the rankings all the way, almost 100 spots up to 115. And as we enter her into a 100-level tournament, which we did a couple of those last year, it's a 1 to 2 step jump from where we had been. However, because of so many graduates, others are also moving up to higher levels, not simply because they've graduated competitively, but because they're one of the older groups and their progression track versus those who are new onto the junior circuit, so on and so forth. It just naturally elevates. It moves up a little bit year by year. It's interesting just kind of how that one works. But we find ourselves actually a 3 seed for this 100 level tournament. Let's see how we can perform against fellow climbers up the rankings who have done it through no gain of their own, just simply by still being around. Colossus is somebody who beat us before, and the first game, it's an interesting new simulation mode here. We're up 2 games 1 now, tied at 2 games all, trailing 2 games 3, so it's kind of points in a row, and we're in a little bit of trouble here as the first set is lost 2-6. Poor start in the second set, down 1-3, 1-4. Looks like it's not going to go our way here, but a little momentum at 3-4, definitely giving us a chance here, but we drop that 1-3-5. Must win, 4-5, must win. Certainly looked like the points were going our way to draw level at 5 all, and then all of a sudden it just ended. We lose 2-6, 4-6. I kind of like that match tracker, though. It's a quick way to follow on and see how we do. Ultimately, minus 12 points overall out of just 120 played, so only 45%. And that was the second time we had played against Colossus, and we lose both. Minus 13 on the winners, plus 3 on the unforced errors, minus 3 on the forced errors. So the errors side was about level, and then that winner side, which is not something that Uni is doing terribly well at. That was the big thing that I noticed over the course of that previous season, is we don't necessarily hit a lot of winners. We just keep it cleaner than everybody else. Tanaway and Inzaghi have also lost in the very first round of their very first tournament. So all 3 of our athletes open this week with a disappointing performance. Inzaghi at least has gotten his first win as he's made round 2 of the second tournament he's participated in. And it was absolutely not a fluke. We continue to get very little development out of Tanaway and Inzaghi, but Uni is still developing rapidly. At this point, I think I want to give the month of January to Uni to push up her physicals a little bit further, maybe a couple more sessions, just to give her a little boost competitively to be able to compete at or around the expected mark for her for the year, and then we'll move on to one of the others. From the end of last year, where there was actually an injury involved, but into the beginning of this year, Uni had lost 3 straight matches. Finally gets that turned around, even though she lost the first set in this one, and just eked out the victory in set number 2. And then finally finds some confidence, and in set 3 pulls ahead. 52% of points won in the end, just plus 6 in that department, but 10 double faults from Uni, and still way behind on the winners, minus 22. But the unforced errors was minus 23 in favor, half as many unforced errors, while the forced errors was also a plus 3. So Uni will at least see the second round of this tournament, and we're starting her out this year almost universally 100 level tournaments. I think there's going to be a couple of 60s scattered in there as just in cases, but for the most part, the first phase of this season she'll be in 100 level tournaments consistently. Our opponent for the second round is somebody we have not played before, somebody we have played before, that is, and beat us head-to-head the previous time. So Uni is winless against this player, and off to another really poor start. We get games 2 and 3 and 4 and have a lot of momentum right now, and looked on track for game or winning a 5th game there before then falling apart. We've got ourselves into set number 2 trailing, though, and that was 5-7. We didn't even push it to the tiebreaker after going pretty streaky there for a bit. Down 2-5 up against it. Looks like we're going to get eliminated from this one, and do 5-7, 3-6 going out in straight sets. Again, the double faults not helping us this time. Total winners at least was neutral, +1. The unforced errors going against us this time, and the forced errors, a -10 and a -7 being the difference. The updated goals for the year: keep current players, recruit only players with a different status than secondary, reach level 2 of the sports center. That's one that's going to need some work. And then revenue share above 15%. Increase reputation of the academy, and maintain an average age below 23. So we've already accomplished 4 of 6 goals, meaning we're going to have a good year kind of regardless at this point. Yes, you can maximize, but you don't have to maximize to end up having a good evaluation for the year. And even though the sports center is their target for us, the only big upgrade is the Play and Co., and we don't have 451,000. We have just 300,000. It's going to take almost the entire year to get there. The only other thing that would turn at least a little bit of profit for us is the weight room, but the weight room also offsets. I mean, we'd be gaining maybe 2K a month for 90,000. That's a bit steep. That takes a long time to turn that one back. I mean, we're talking about 3.5-4 years to turn that back into a net gain. So with better revenue in mind, especially because at the moment we're only earning 8K. It's dropped down quite a bit from where it was with the addition of 2 new athletes, I guess. They do come with some natural expenses, I guess. I suppose would be why our finances have dropped 4 or 5K a month. So the stores are the next upgrade that I have in mind. We're looking at about 6K a month increase from that one, so we'll take that. Tanaway still has yet to record a win over 3 in the 3 matches, 3 tournaments that she has entered, and Inzaghi just 1 in 3 in 3 tournaments, so both struggling here early on. I have a level 3 coach willing to talk with us, Murphy Kissel. 4-year contract is what he's looking for. I'm fine with that. This is somebody we can keep around for a while. This will also make him happy. Right now his patience is rather low because of his level versus our level. He's looking for a 10K signing bonus. We can afford that. We've got 85K. The monthly wage is the part that worries me. I'd rather see an extra, say, 1,000 in the signing bonus and a monthly wage that's a little bit lower, because that's going to have a much longer term impact than the signing bonus will. We didn't get into the red. It's in the orange, though, so he may sign, may not. We'll see how that goes. He agreed. All right, we have a coach to help us out. We will not be working alone here. We'll see how much of a difference it makes to whoever the second athlete is as we kind of go through the rotation. We are entering February, though, so I think it's actually time to make a swap. In the meantime, Uni at least got a really good week in. Footwork up to 10, balance to a 12, and agility to an 11. 3 attribute points all being gained. So as we're about to make that handoff, you can see the physical has pulled ahead of the mental, and that's because there's actually 3 hidden attributes that you can't train. They just develop as athletes get older and have experiences. And so there are 3 more, but you can only train the 3 of them. So it does kind of stall out the average a little bit. But everything into double digits now on the physical. It's a good point to now hand things off and switch over to training somebody else up to get to a similar type level. Takes a few days for that staff member to actually get in place and join you, so I haven't made a swap yet, and Uni goes into a 60 level tournament as the 1 seed. Very much in need of a good performance here before we hand things off, so fingers crossed. First round is certainly a good start, 6-2, 6-2. Round 2, also victorious, though we lost the first set, but the second and third sets were very strong. 60% of points won overall, plus 20 on winners. Well ahead on the unforced errors, though quite a bit behind on the forced errors side. Quarterfinal victory for Uni, 6-3, 6-4. 7 aces. Nicely done there. Plus 7 on the winners as well. A little bit cleaner with plus 5 and minus 2 on the errors side. It's a 1-3 matchup in the semis, while it's 7 and unseeded 264th ranked Badur in the other semi, meaning, we've got the much tougher semi-final. Can Uni see her first final of this year? Remember, in the reset, 6 finals a year ago, and she won 3 of them. The only time they played previously, Anzai came out on top, but it's a comfortable win for Uni this time. 6-4, 6-1, and she will see her first final of the year. It is that 7 seed, 222nd ranked Canadian Cedarmers, who we've played once before and beaten head-to-head. Uni is a little bit stressed for this final, so we'll see if she can settle in quickly. For those who have followed the series for a while, in past versions of Tennis Manager, the one rule in tennis that I can't stand, and I coach volleyball, and there's a very, very similar rule set. This rule does not exist there. So a ball that hits the net and stays on your own side is a fault. But a ball that hits the net and goes over and lands on the other side is called let. It's a replay. It never happened. I think your rule needs to be very, very clear and precise. Either you serve over and in, or you serve over it in clean without making contact of the net. What are the other? But replay, let, absolute absurd tennis rule that I cannot stand. I'm not a fan at all. And we open this with back-to-back let plays. Either it should have been back-to-back points, or it should have been back-to-back faults and a double fault and point going to Uni on that one. Anyway, game number 1, we're trailing 30-40 at the moment. You could see just how much better Uni is moving than what we were seeing in season number 1. Very, very, very similar skill set, exact same tactics as before, just a few more points. Just, well, now about 4 points more, kind of across the board on those physical attributes, and that extra movement making a big difference. So if you're thinking about early development, how to train your own athletes in this game, I would strongly recommend getting some points in on the physical side, because the mental points not making a significant difference. Uni was losing quite regularly, but we added a few physical points to go with it.
40-30.
Oh, that caught the line. Yes, it did. I'm loving the eagle view, because my first instinct was that was out. That one was definitely out. 1 game all here to start. Let's speed things up. Yes, it's a final, but it's only a 60 level. It's very low level here. But it is a final. It's the first final that we've seen in the series. So as much as I'm like, we had 6 of these last year, sort of didn't. Anyway, the connections between first playthrough versus rerun to get back to the point. Like, everything's synced up now, except for the mindset. The mindset of like, oh wait, hold on. We did make a number of finals last year. We lead 2 games 1 here and lead 30-15, 40-15, and 3 games 1. Good advantage here in this first set. As for the physicals, stamina, Uni's looking good. We're probably at 90% right now on the stamina. Our opponent, probably all the way down to, gosh, what is that, maybe 60%? So pretty healthy advantage, a good 30% ahead on the stamina side. And as this match continues on, could be a factor as we go over the head of Sidemers there and collect the point. We're up 4 games 2. Both are stressed, so they're in a very similar state mentally, but that doesn't always amount to things. She's anxious, concerned, stressed. 3 out of 4. She's enthusiastic on the other. You have 4 things that make up your mentality at any given time. And we are confident, concerned, stressed, and enthusiastic. So actually, just 2 out of 4 are on the worrying side for Uni, where our opponent is 3 out of 4. So what can we do? We are concerned and stressed. If we can take care of that. Nope, not yet. But we can talk at the end of the set. Down to 5-4 though. Our advantage slimming a little bit, but at 40 love, it's set point.
Second service.
Weak serve, but at least we got it in play. She hits long, and there you go. First set is ours, 6-4. Not dominating, but semi-comfortable. We were in control throughout. All right, let's talk. Let's see what we could do. Nothing's changed on the motivation or relaxation. Oh, there you go. This, I think, could help with the relaxation. She agreed, but no change to her mentality.
Second set. 15
Caught the line. Didn't move. Probably could have played that one. Let's speed things up again here, though. We're up a set, so we're already in a good position. Even if we lose this set, the longer it goes on, the more the game could come to us. So here's the thing about stamina. If you're new to the Tennis Manager universe, stamina doesn't mean a thing from 100% stamina down to 51% stamina. At 50% stamina, you start to take a mild accuracy penalty. So they become less accurate with their contacts of the ball. At 25%, it gets more severe, and into the lowest percentages, even more severe. So the accuracy penalty is what you're going to see as the stamina dwindles down. Meaning, if we were to lose set number 2 and push into a set 3 to tiebreak, that stamina becomes more and more and more of a factor. So after winning the first set, when you have a stamina advantage, you can feel relatively confident that at some point you're going to either gain an advantage or you're going to get the job done on your own anyway. Like we are right now, up 5 games love. If you hadn't noticed that one, if you were paying attention to me and not what was going on in the background, it's 40-30. It's match point. Weak serve, but better in than out. And there you go. There's a winner. 6 love. 6-4, 6 love. 2-set winner. And that is a tournament victory. It's only a 60 level, though, which is that second tier. It's the lowest tier that we would see this year. That was pretty comfortable. I think that was against a lot of first-year players in that tournament. And maybe some second-year players like ourselves that were the ones that we were beating last year when we eventually moved from the 30s to the 60s, the final third of the season. I think the 100s are probably the right place for us anyway, though we haven't had the greatest of start in those. And I think I only scheduled 2 60s and the rest were all 100s. So the 2 60s might be the only 2 times this year that we do that, unless we continue to struggle with the 100s. But this is what a payout looks like for a 60 level tournament victory on a 62% prize share, $1,200. That's not breaking the bank. That is not setting us up for financial success. So it's still going to come out of the facilities themselves, which of course we are better than break even, so we're making profit. We will not be focusing as heavily on finances this year as we did in the previous tenants manager versions, which is why I started with that extra cash, right? So that we could actually start making a profit sooner rather than later, so that it wouldn't be the focal point of the series for 30 episodes. It's still important right now. It's only episode number 5. It's only just into year number 2, and we are positive on that balance, but it's not drastic. So it's going to be a while before those finances really kick in and set us up for success so we can grow a little more rapidly. Right now, it's the most important thing. Uni, not important. Limited potential. So our development of uni is not the end-all be-all. Right now, it's the finances. The 3 players we have in place are going to come and go. They will not be with the team permanently. We're not going to win slams with them. So our coaching staff also, not that important, except for ourselves, where we will continue to be with the program throughout. But coming off of a tournament victory, I think it's the perfect time to switch places and go support other members of the team. So I'm going to remove myself from working with Uni, who is going to see a jump in the ranks. Following that one, she's at 122 right now. I would imagine that that's going to get her close to the top 100. And at some stage this season, we very much might get back in control. However, I'm not going to leave Uni alone. Our new one, Kissel, is going to take on some work. Kissel, okay, tactics and mental is level 3. What are we at? Kissel training game plan. That's their strength, not the physical. So we're going to get, I guess, Gutierrez. That's Gutierrez across 3 areas now. Now, Inzaghi has won. Tanaway has yet to win a single match. And for that, I think Tanaway is the one who deserves a little extra help first and foremost. So we're going to set up Tanaway first. And that actually means physical training is going to get relaxed because, there's that. So as the higher ranked, more experienced player, Uni is going to go ahead and hang on to the physio and hope that can keep her healthy and performing. But as for the swap, so Kissel is going to be on Uni. I pulled her off of the training game plan that she's actually good at, or he is good at, but Kissel at least is 2-star in technical. We'll see if Uni can actually gain some ground on technical training here for the next while, and then have Kissel just help with the tactical and mental so that at least something's still developing with Gutierrez as 2 stars. Uni might make some progress with that staff combination. Inzaghi's going to struggle. Inzaghi's not going to do well for the next little while, but let's see if Tanaway can take off in the way that Uni has. I think, at least on paper, we have a very similar potential between Uni and Tanaway and Inzaghi. So we should now see Tanaway's development take off for the next while and really come along. For myself as a trainer, we're still not there technical, so we can't really help them out in that department. But if we can bring up the physical and mental for all three of them over the course of the year, and if I level up again at some point, maybe we can actually start to impact technical, and hopefully Kissel can at least provide us some progression. Literally one day later, Tanaway opens a tournament, a 30-level tournament in South Africa, where her ranking, 396, without any points. She's done nothing yet. Actually, I think she has one. I do think she has 1 point. So a 60-level tournament, I think even a first-round exit counts as 1 point. So that did move her up from just outside of the top 400 to 396. Amazingly, though, there's a lot of young new players, and that has her as a 6th seed, even though she's only earned 1 point this season. On paper, though, she's apparently identical to our opponent, Montano, but Montano has better form, and Montano is going to come out ahead. So it's going to take us a little bit. We're going to have to get some time training for Tanaway. We're going to have to pick up a few points, it looks like, before she's going to start getting some wins. We'll have to check in on what her tactics are as well, but her double faults, not good. She did hit a ton of winners, but also a billion mistakes. So 72 combined errors definitely offsets the 59 points won. They played a lot of points for this match, though, so this one really went a long way, and we were -4 at the end of the day. It was very, very close. Well, Murphy is off to a terrible start as a new staff member. So we assigned Murphy to Uni, and literally the first week, 3 days since starting the job, and what he's working with, Uni, has had a Achilles tendon sprain. A serious one. 25 days down for Uni. Yeah, not a good start. On a brighter note, in 3 days of training, Kissel did make some progress. Topspin, almost 19% gained in topspin. We're talking 3 days, right? Serve consistency was 14%, almost 12% in serve power. We haven't seen any development like that at all. Serve consistency is a 5, so it's incredibly easy to level up, but our training has been so pitiful in the technical area that we just haven't made any gains. Kissel is going to help us there. So rotation of Kissel is going to be really important, to have Kissel on technical training for us to make some progress with our athletes there. Now, it's not drastic progress, but when it's really low level, combined with a coach, it is kind of working out. So rotating these two coaches will have an impact on our athletes and allow us to get a little bit further along. I don't think we're going to be talking about getting 10, 11, 12, but if we can get like 8s and 9s, it's a step. It's a step in the direction we need to be. In the short term, of course, while finances then become the priority to eventually get that youth and scouting center to raise up its level and bring us better talents. But Inzaghi, nothing happening. Tanaway, we had the tournament, so we had no special training this week. But in anticipation of 4, yeah, that'll give you some bad performances. Well, there's your proof in the pudding, as Tanaway, who was seeing no development earlier, it was our staff. That was the situation. Of course, I knew that was the case, but here's the proof, so you know it as well. As stamina picks up over 50%, and our first attribute point added to Tanaway. At nearly 16K, the profit started to turn back the direction we needed to, and that was actually 2 upgraded facilities as we also developed something else in that December, or like the day we got the cash injection phase. So with 2 new upgrades complete, finances are again starting to look a little bit better, a little bit healthier, and that is also with the new staff member expense as well, offsetting some of those gains. But for the moment, with just over 100,000, it's going to be a while before we turn enough profit to turn around and invest once again in another upgrade to increase that margin a little bit higher. For me, I think realistically, the goal is to get at least 25K to the good monthly, so you can turn a bit more rapid profit and be able to upgrade facilities a little more frequently before we can ease off and not worry as much about profit making opportunities. So Tanawe still has yet to win a match. She's, I think, 0-5 lifetime. 0-6. 0-6, and she does have 2 points. So 230 level. The 60 level does not have a point for a first round exit, but 200 level invites that she's had with first round exits have netted her a whopping 2 points right now. Her rank is actually getting lower for the moment, as others in the same boat as her, being new on the circuit, are performing better than she is. But it is going to take a moment before we can expect Tanawe to start to pulling some results. Right? She's now 0-7 all time. She got a big old donut on the first set, but had a much better second set. I think she'll be there, but she's playing an aggressive style that's not working right now. It's not panning out. Let's see what is that style that seems to be catching her out with her low skill set. So it's not actually the case at all. We're talking about somebody who has a hot-headed personality trait, who has a composure of 3, who has terrible anticipation, who has very mediocre physicals, a drop shot of 3. Her serve is just in the 5s category, but really she should be doing better because she has solid baseline play for her tactic, which is simple and clean play from the baseline, very consistent, makes few errors, and wears down the opponent in the exchange, meaning stay alive in longer rallies. Play clean. Well, that's not happening right now, I think more because of her mental attributes at the moment are not there. She's got a lot of passion. She's hot-headed. She's got a 12 for the fighting spirit, but she's not yet able to focus that. And so it's going to take some training. Plus, her primary tactic right now is poor in terms of her ability to play it. But she's also 15 and just coming out of the youth ranks. So she's got a ways to go to pick things up. But it's going to take more than 1 week of training her and getting a single attribute point to see it translate into success on the court. So how long is it going to take, though? Because, again, we've got to keep this rotation going of working with each of them. And I'd like to get her winning at least somewhat before that happens. One important thing to note of our 3 players, even though they all have a very similar potential, Uni is an early bloomer, meaning she's going to develop more quickly, while younger. And Zagi is only standard. Tanawe is also standard. So they are going to really pick up their development in their early 20s and not necessarily right now. So they're going to be on the slower side. And I'm seeing the training results over the last few weeks for Tanawe. They're much better than they were with the other traders, but it's not rapid, meaning it's much more of a long-term project to try to pick those 2 up. So I think I will have to do a little more kind of a steady rotation to keep things going, because right now Uni needs to have at least one of our 2 coaches working with Uni at all times, as Uni is the early bloomer and developing a little bit faster. And then one of those 2 coaches will have to rotate through the other 2 right now, as their progress is expected to be a bit slower, which means they're not going to be overly thrilled. I doubt that either one of them is going to crack the top 250 this particular year. Which, of course, that then goes on to beg the question of, do I need to hire that third coach here at some stage? Especially while we're turning about 16K profit a month. It's healthier. That is definitely healthier. It's not great, but it's healthier. If we could hire one more on the affordable side coach, not all of, say, a 3K salary ends up costing us 3K, because you'll get a little bit of boost to that variable in the facilities, which means, maybe it's only going to cost us 14 or 15K, or drop us to 14 or 15K from the 16, and meanwhile allow us to develop all three a little more rapidly. That could be a smart move. We just have to get things that are going to complement one another. Right now we have nothing in that training game plan category. But I think at the same time, somebody who is technical as a strength, right? Kissel's kind of balanced. Technical as a proper strength would be really helpful, because that's obviously the really weak area for myself where I can really help us out. The training game plan, it's a level 5 as well. So we could easily switch off here in time and make that happen. Tough draw for Tanue against the 2 seed. She gets a wild card for a 60 level. This looks like it could be a first round exit. But it's not. She's got through the first round, knocking off the 2 seed, squeaking out that first set and then getting absolutely hammered before coming back and beating her opponent 2 points the better. Unforced error is pretty high, but definitely not as bad as it could have been. Better than our opponent, at least. But finally, with a single win under her belt, which Inzaghi's also only at 1 win so far on the year. I mean, it's middle of March, and our 2 young rookies have 1 win each. Rough start. Very rough start for them. But Ji has knocked us off, so we're out in round number 2. Well, anticipation's up to a level 5 for Tanue. It's not rapid development, but it is development. So we will stick with Tanue a little bit longer before we switch to Inzaghi and give him a bit of a boost before we get back to uni. But again, I think right now we're going to spend a little more time focusing on uni, just as the early bloomer. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sign another coach right now, even though it won't cost us much. It'll still cost us. And at the moment, knowing that none of these athletes are going to be the future, I'm not going to overcommit to their development when their development is not going to be that important to us. The finances are going to matter a lot more. So I will stick to the practical side. We'll be frugal. We'll save that money. By the way, we're still doing well. Morale, physical condition, and fairly good form for everybody, despite everything. So that is happening. Tanue does climb a little bit up the rankings, but it's still lower than where she started, as both Inzaghi and Tanue are getting outpaced by the other young rookies right now. And Uni has slipped in the rankings a little bit, but again, was injured for close to a month, so missed quite a few tournaments over that range, which saw her ranking slip just a little bit. Now that she's healthy, hopefully Uni can pick that back up. But Tanue is not going very far very fast, as our next tournament, 30 level, against another low-seeded opponent. She's been absolutely hammered and can't keep things clean. Really poor on serve, makes plenty of errors, and not hitting winners. She was beat very comfortably here, only won 39 points. Well, the first period of the season has come to an end, and Uni dropped 15 spots in the rankings, but did win a solid 72 points and earn us 3.5K. Not much, but it's better than what we were getting last year anyway. And had good performances in the 4 tournaments, won 2/3 of her matches, right? 66%. But of course encountered that injury, so participated in a few less tournaments. She's just gotten cleared fully in the last 48 hours. Inzaghi, 1 win from 6 matches played, 5 tournaments. Not good. Ranking drops 40 spots. Tanue drops 70 spots. 7 points won, though, but 1 win in 10 matches played, 9 tournaments. A little more active on the tournament front, a little bit higher level. She got some wild cards to some higher level stuff that we accepted, and it didn't help her out much at all. Really poor win rate from these two to start their careers. Actually starts to beg the question of, if I want them to be more like Uni, maybe I should have them playing the same tactic, the whole team all train the same way, and be very generic like that. But it would probably lead to some better results, because what Tanaway is doing is not working. What Inzaghi is doing is not working. And what Uni is doing without me is not working. It's only been 2 tournaments, but she's lost in the first round both times. Well, in this episode, we've had our first phase of rotating to work with others, but we are encountering that different progression patterns exist out there, and Uni's going to progress a little bit faster than the other two. So we're still going to give a little more attention to Uni than the others, but only moderately so. Tanaway is starting to develop a little bit faster, but with the slowdown of being standard instead of an early bloomer, it's taking a little bit longer to get her there. We'll get her some attribute points. She will perform better. Now the question is, should I change tactics and make everybody uniform and go in the same direction? Because different tactics do perform in different ways. It's like that in the real life too. But skill set always matters. None of them have much of a skill set right now. They're all just developing. Uni, of course, is ahead on the tactics, mental side, and on the physical side because of a year of development, being a year older than the other two. And the other two aren't going to quite get there this year, especially as I'm not only rotating between 3 players, but have 2 of them that have that slower progression track. So all of that's going to make life difficult on those two. I don't think they're going to do terribly well, and early bloomers are going to be more important in the early stages of this series, as we are lacking athletes with much potential. I think taking an early bloomer is going to make a big difference on their competitiveness and how useful they'll be to us, especially when they lack top-end potential anyway. I mean, I don't want to wait until Tanaway's 28 years old to be competitive. We're not going to sit around and wait 13 years for her to be competitive and take up a roster spot. We're going to be moving on to somebody else. So right now, early bloomers, really important. That's, I think, our biggest lesson of today. We have the rotation, but we need early bloomers. And like I said, the finances part, we're getting there. It's coming along. Long ways to go yet, but it's coming along. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.